Usually I just start recording while like bullshitting in between to just get people
roll
going
right into it. Yeah,
because then you get like that kind of thought of like, oh shit, we're actually.
It's not that weird moment of like, oh shit, okay, we got to start.
Well, let's start with a cheers for some hop water.
Yeah.
So hop water, our dear friends at Brother Shit Brewing, the boys out there.
Our dear friends and Tom.
And Tom. I'm so deep in dry January right now, and I'm not loving it.
You know, like for me, I don't drink as much as I used to, so like I don't really feel that like need for a month off. Like it's such moderation at this point now. Like, you know, it's a social thing for me. You know, beer and liquor too is like my life. So I'm not trying to be around it, and just obviously as you get older, you know, you feel it more, and it's just not healthy to go so crazy. And
how did you like? Is that recent, or have you always been kind of like moderate drinker?
I mean, it's slowed down over time. I would say coming back to crafted was like the real turning point of like slowing down. We like to party at Chug-a-Lug a little bit. So,
dude, Chug-a-Lug. I forgot about that chapter.
There were some late nights at Chug-a-Lug.
That was a life.
I mean, Chug-a-Lug was awesome though. It really elevated my cocktail game and like the spirits world beyond just being a beer guy.
Good experience to run a place like that versus
crazy experience, but a lot of things learned. You know, you're forced to learn because it's a big thing, and there's no slow time. You know.
I mean, you, especially like for the people that listen to like the beer podcast in the past, and then like that are starting, you know, my beer friends, our beer friends. Yeah. You need no fucking introduction. Everybody knows. If they know me, they know you. Probably vice versa in a little bit. But
I'm just average Jeremy.
But, yeah, right, dude. You're talking Schmidt, dude. You're talking Schmidt, boy. So if for those of you who are tuned into just the regular shit on the podcast, it isn't beer related. This is my awesome friend Jeremy Schmidt, and Jeremy and I have been talking about doing this forever. Jeremy has an awesome idea for a podcast. He just doesn't have time in his life to do it, and his is going to be a lot better than what I do, and I can't wait for it to actually happen one day. One day you're just going to be like, fuck it, I'm doing it.
That's pretty much the plan. Like
you had a great
it existed,
group of
and
friends
I lost a little passion for it, but you know, life gets crazy at times, so everything happens naturally, and you know you got to be able to focus on it, not half-ass.
Well, I mean, you're understating. Life gets crazy. You and I planned to do this long before like anything, you know, that of recent events that I'm sure a ton of people know. But I mean, we're sitting here halfway through the month of January, and you had a wild run of events happen to you. It started like the 22nd, like somewhere in that.
Yeah,
ballpark?
The Sunday before Christmas.
It was the home game Bears
Lions and
right?
Bears game.
So,
yeah.
I mean, might as well just dive right into that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big part of life right now.
It's not a great subject. I hate that's what like, you know, made it happen. I mean, just that's like the first thing we need to talk about. But might as well dive right into it if we're gonna sit here with microphones and talk.
Yeah. So you know, Bears Lions.
Walk me through that. Walk me through that day, like all the way from like how the hell did you get field passes in the first place? You know, for such an awesome game.
Yeah. So Chad, Brian, Denver, you know, the crafted crew, and their buddy Brian, and you know, Chad works at Campbell's and was able to get tickets for the game.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Okay,
and,
I know Chad worked for Campbell's, but I didn't realize he had the hookup like that. I love that.
Yeah.
Chad also looks like Ben Folds 5 if you ever go into Crafted and see him on Friday. Is he still Fridays?
Chadillacs Friday nights.
Chadillac, dude, the best.
He's the old fashioned king over there.
I fucking love that guy.
Yeah. I mean, they're all great. Everybody's got such personality, and they're all so different in the same way. It's so fun.
And Brian West.
They are the three amigos, or the three Stooges, as I call them. But I mean it with love.
All the boys, Denver, all of them.
Yeah, it's all with love. I mean, that place wouldn't be what it is without them. You know, they bring life on Thursday night, Friday night, and they love being there. So that makes a difference. You know, it's not everybody loves their job, so to be there and actually enjoy the spot you're at is also a pleasure.
It allows the superhero bartender Jeremy Schmidt to have a little time to himself, have a little bit of a life himself.
Coming on the end of a month off right now.
Holy shit! That's crazy.
Yeah, 3 weeks planned, but an extra week due to the chaos.
Events.
So.
All right, let's get back to it. So Campbell's Soup, Chunky Soup hooks you up.
Yeah,
right?
so like Wednesday, Thursday, he offered tickets to the game, and asked me if I had somebody I wanted to bring. So naturally, going to the game with my dad was a big thing. And he's a Bears fan, but he's kind of jumped on that bandwagon of, it's hard to watch right now. So,
well, let's establish this first of all. You were not a Bears fan. You never were.
no,
really.
everybody thinks I'm a Packers fan because I talk a lot of shit about the Bears, but I'm actually a Lions fan. So
you're not Josh Crane. We get it.
No, my team wins this year.
Already out, dude. I love that.
Much love, Josh.
I
mean, we worked together the Lions and Packers game that day, and it was. I love Josh. I mean, Josh again, another guy. What a personality, and like
energy,
that guy could just being behind the bar. Like he's such a people person, and it's always nice to do it in moderation. Where I don't have to do this every day, so I can be me today. You know, so
yeah, I'm going out with him on Saturday. We're all going out to Camp Supper Tap.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're all going to Pouch, and a bunch of us going to cruise out there on Saturday.
I got to get out there one time, man. That place.
Come out on Saturday.
Unfortunately, I have date night at Primal Cut. So.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Primal Cut.
Yeah, date night.
I'm going to keep interrupting this story until you get it.
That's all right.
There's too many fun things that we can talk about. But yes, so you get passes, and your dad is on board, or is he like, I don't want to watch that nightmare? Like
he was 50-50 because of the weather. Like I said, he's
not about that cold.
He's okay with watching the Bears lose if it's the Lions because I think doing the interview with ESPN, I had told them I feel like the Lions have kind of become America's team over more of the Cowboys.
Shit, we haven't even gotten to ESPN yet, dude.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, that's
you're foreshadowing now.
Yeah, but I feel like the Lions are the America's underdog kind of thing. Even though they're dominant right now, that franchise has struggled forever. So.
You're 1,000% right though. I've had that feeling. I think a lot of Bears fans.
I think Dan Campbell really inspired it.
I think a lot of Bears fans have had that the last couple of years, just watching this can actually happen. You can go from a garbage franchise to potentially, a perennial pop.
And a lot of guys counted out. Goff was kind of an afterthought when they got him. Dan Campbell, nobody expected him to be the coach he is.
The golden boy Matt Stafford gets shipped out of town to the Rams, who you assume just
they made a nice run though this year.
Yeah.
They're still
they got themselves a Super Bowl out of the trade. So for all intents and purposes, it was a win-win trade for both sides.
Yeah,
but nobody gave Jared Goff a chance to succeed.
No,
I can't tell you one person that was like, damn, Lions got a good deal there.
I even thought that first year, I'm like, that's a fantasy year, but hey man,
crazy.
Sometimes it's good to be wrong.
Dude is locked in.
Yeah, he didn't look so great at the game I went to that last week, the last game against the Vikings, but thankfully the defense stepped it up big time. They fucking rocked it out.
Yeah, B-Flow was moving it. But Flores sends all those crazy blitzes, and it's been that offensive line in Detroit though. So you guys get tickets, you get them locked in, and you head over to Soldier.
Yeah. My dad called me the day after I invited him.
Nothing weird, just
no,
cool.
He said, I want to go, and I had told him on the phone and also told him in the car, which these words really have so much meaning to me. Of I told him I don't know when we're going to be able to do this again, so I'm really happy you came here. And you say those things in passing a lot, but
didn't even think about it.
After the fact, it really hits to think about that moment and just the words themselves. So, we get the tickets, and then Chad had secured some field passes, which was super cool. Never been down on the field.
I didn't know Cadillac had it like that.
Yeah,
I should have assumed.
He
called the Cadillac. Saturday night.
Chad's got it, man.
Saturday nights.
Man. Chad and Brian both, man. Them guys, they're slick talkers. They got it.
I love it.
So, we end up on the field, and again, it's a normal day. Drive to the game, park. The frustration of parking, nothing crazy. Shuttle to the little walkway, and then we get up in there and get down to the field, and everything felt good. We're all hanging out, saying hi to each other.
Did you guys tailgate and shit? Did you get there early? Just right into the stadium?
Denver and them had got there a little. We got about the same time, but they had closer parking, so they got in a little prior to us. And we went in, and we were down on the field, and maybe 10-15 minutes only went by, and unfortunately, my dad fell back and had passed out, and the unfortunate circumstances were his heart stopped, and a random gentleman was there on the field, which the circumstances to lead him there are just crazy. The way the world works is so crazy with this, but.
What was your first reaction? What did you think happened when your dad went down?
I really just thought his knee gave out because my dad has knee replacement, and we did do some walking, but other than that, everything felt fine. So, a little bit of shock and like
you see him hit the ground, and your first thought is like, "Oh, he fell. I'm gonna go help him up." And then
I saw his eyes, and that's when I really realized like how serious it was, And the gentleman jumped in. His name's Benjamin Roth. He's a firefighter, but he jumped in CPR immediately, and with one shock, they were able to bring him back on the field. He knew where he was. He was answering.
So he started
questions.
like compressions on your dad. Like,
immediately. And
so how long do you think like or was it just so chaotic you can't remember? Like, it was like a couple minutes, couple seconds, and then all of a sudden
within minutes
he
had brought him back. Like I feel like I mean I could be wrong, but it didn't feel like that long. But it it took a little time. But he brought him back, and then there's Northwestern doctors on the field. State troopers were right on, and like the immediate care was huge. It was great response, and we get in the ambulance, head to Northwestern. Things look okay, and they're running some tests. It got to the point where it got a little crazy. This happened at about 11:15 on the field. I would say about 3 o'clock, things started to get not so great. They tried to perform
at the hospital.
I was in the ER the whole time, in the ambulance in the ER, and they needed to do an ECMO, which if you're familiar, they're trying to basically free the arteries and get rid of that blockage a little bit.
What do they do? How do they do that?
It's like a large catheter. It goes through the groin area.
Okay, and that just tries to break it up somehow.
Yeah, just get it flowing, and because at that point he was still himself. Like in the ER, he's joking with the nurses. He literally told them like, I remember the one nurse or doctor saying like, "You're better off here. You don't got to watch the Bears lose." He goes, "Don't tell anybody, but I actually root for the Lions now." Like. He was himself the whole time.
You just outed him, dude.
I mean, the world knows, and the Lions, deserve that praise because they're a first-class organization. Over what the sorry effort of the Bears.
That hat is so sick.
Hey, the whole experience was sick. So we'll get to that. But
so dad's like he's having a good time with the nurses. Like what are they telling you? Like hour by hour.
It's minute by minute, play by play. Like
we're doing this. Hopefully this starts to loosen this up, and then potentially. Yeah. Like was there a point where you're like, we're probably gonna go home hunky dory tonight, or like he's staying the night maybe? And there
was definite feel he was staying the night. He had a cardiac arrest on the field. They said he didn't have signs of a heart attack, but he did have cardiac arrest. But like I said, at maybe about 3 o'clock, it started to the ECMO wasn't going well. They were having issues getting the catheters in, and after one test, he was really not feeling great and had that same moment of like falling back with the eyes again, and that's when they kind of took us out of the ER because it got real. I mean, we were in there for a little bit, but it got some of that stuff is not pleasant to see, and they don't really have people back there.
Yeah,
they let us be back there a lot longer than the normal person.
So who comes back then? Is it you and
so I was there?
Members?
I did call his wife, my stepmom Beth, and she was able to come be there with him. For probably another hour or two. She got there, a little after we arrived, but. And that's when they took him up, and the plan is an angiogram to see what we got to do. Do we need to do stents? Do we need to do something more serious? And unfortunately, when he was up there, he didn't make it. So
did they take him like to an OR or something?
Took him straight up. Whatever the room is. I can't think of the name.
ICU.
Essentially to try to get that ECMO going because they couldn't get it down in the ER, and then also to go right away because his heartbeat was irregular. He had been zapped another 5 to 10 times in the emergency room. It was a lot,
Wow.
But it was also like optimistic to a point where like there's a lot of people who have cardiac arrest and survive.
Yeah.
I have my uncle has stents. I know dozens of people with stents.
Yeah, my grandma had them. My other grandpa had
it's
them.
It's part of things, and usually up until it didn't look good, it looked good.
Really?
Is weird as that sounds. I mean, nothing looks good about the situation, but there's optimism,
So from like 2 o'clock or whatever 1 o'clock p.m. to 5 p.m. that day, like what are you like? Where's your head at? Like, what's your mental state? Are you on an ebbs and flows? Are you going up and down? Like, good, bad, or are you kind of like, all right, well, it seems like they got a plan in place here. It seems like we're going to move past this somehow, or...
I mean, I was somewhat optimistic, but I was also more like just trying to be strong and just reassure him because, I felt bad. He's literally apologizing to me in the emergency room, and it's not your fault. Like,
yeah,
you there's no history of heart issues. No, not much in the family like that. I mean, more recently things are coming up, but none of this was expected, and it's way different than losing my mom, almost 13 years ago now, where that was years of suffering with Lewy body and, dementia and all that. Or watching my grandparents my grandpa had multiple heart attacks and cancer and then ended up dying of pneumonia. Literally, one of my youngest memories is being in hospice with him, and we had stayed there for days because with stuff like that you prepare. You kind of know when the time's coming, and
slow burn.
It sucks and it's hard to watch it. It's never easy to watch anybody suffer, long term, short term, anything. But we were all in the room, aunts, uncles, cousins, and my grandmother grabbed his hand and she said, "Vance, I got the Social Security check. You can go. The bills are paid." Within a minute, he left,
Whoa.
Just like that,
Whoa.
So like that's one of my youngest memories as a kid. So
that's
like
so crazy.
All these things kind of prepare you, and like nothing prepared me for that day, but it prepared me to how to deal with it in a better way than how I have like with my mom or other circumstances. So
yeah, that's I think I like you. I guess all my experiences in these things in death or in family like that. It's always like this kind of. It's not like you see it coming, but it's not like the timeline that you guys.
There was no thought this was ever
going
to happen to my dad right then and there. Like,
yeah, it's just crazy. I just wondered like what your mental state was. Like how are you acting? Like how do you think you were perceived? When family member gets there, like oh, Jeremy looks calm and cool. Is Jeremy freaking out a little bit? Is Jeremy?
I mean, definitely freaking out inside, but I'm not a big emotion shower on the negative side, like if you see me angry, I'm really angry.
You better watch out.
I don't really try to show sadness around people. That's just part of being a man and being a strong, tough person. But I've learned to open up a little bit more emotionally, this last couple of years. I mean, the posts I've made since everything, and even today, like just talking about like trying to deal with things like raw and like not drown your sorrows with booze or alcohol or drugs or anything, whatever your vices, food, there's so many things that, will help numb the pain, but it doesn't make the pain go away. So just kind of like, even just this talking about it, like it's not easy and, it hurts me inside, but it also makes me happy to like share that like my dad meant a lot to me and still does. And, there's a lot of good memories beyond just one sad one that,
Yeah. I felt a lot more comfortable that you kind of like we talked a little bit and you kind of broke the story down because it was weird for me I was seeing like posts that you were making like, oh, my dad, something's going on with my dad. And then I see my dad passed away. I did not realize this whole element of the Bears game and this Lions thing. And then all of a sudden I see what Detroit's doing for this big, thing on the field and all this stuff at their game. So once I actually sat and like talked to you through text messages, I was like, oh. And then you sounded like, okay, you felt like in that conversation that you were okay with talking about it.
Yeah.
Because like, I'd never ask you to come here like fresh off of something like this if I thought you were not in a good mental state to have this conversation.
No, it's, it helps to talk, man. And like I said, it just helps to be around people. And, I've kind of made it a point, during this vacation time being as like, nothing I had planned really kind of happened for these few weeks, but I've made a point to try to reconnect with other people who like mean a lot to me, whether just a friend or like family or just anybody, like I just went to a Hawks game with a buddy I haven't hung out with in years, Monday. And, it was a great time, and as we get older, it's easy to lose touch with people. And like I said, I told Ira earlier, like, family isn't just blood, and you realize the people that mean a lot to you, and are genuine about it. So I try to surround myself with those people, and those people have been awesome about making themselves known. The the outreach. I mean, within a day I had over 1,000 text messages and Facebook messages.
Wow. Yeah, people love you anyway. Didn't matter.
Yeah,
people have always loved you.
You know, I it's conceited to say I know that, but it's great to be reassured of that. You know,
and I think anybody that hears you say that understands where it came from, how you're saying it, and where it comes from.
I've tried to be that person who makes everybody feel welcome. Like I feel like Crafted is such an open environment of like. At the funeral services, I had my aunt asking me, like, why do you have so many old friends? And I'm like, the customers there are not just like business. Like, we're blessed to have such a great clientele and group of people who support us. No, we support each other. Like we spend holidays together. We get together for outings and cookouts and
no shit.
Meet at breweries or go to other places. Like
such a family.
It is. It's a huge
from the beginning.
And that's what made.
And that's a big credit to Denver. I mean, Denver. That was always like his vision was like hanging out in the basement or hanging out in a garage with a group of people. And obviously we're consuming alcohol and stuff. But I mean, he always had that vision right off the bat. That operative membership, 007, all that stuff created like so much more than just like people that saddle up at the bar next to each other. It created this weird community. It's like weird, right? It's like a weird community of 100 maybe more people, that like, I mean, and again, I always, the credit to him, like he put that all together. That was like always his thing. And it's still, I mean, I still have those friendships today,
And it's
I haven't
nice
worked
now.
there since 2018, whatever it was, 2020. And 5 years later, I still call Jeff and Kyle and all these people that I met there years and years ago. People still they support Brothership,
Come
which
to see a Brothership
from
workforce,
Crafted. I mean, like, right? I mean, Kyle and Ryan were two of my favorite customers when I was working there. Rod. I mean, Rod works at Brothership now. Rod was.
I tried to bring him today, but
you
he's
and
working.
I there. Like, the best.
Yeah.
Him and Ryan are supposed to do one, but we keep kind of pushing it off.
They're living the dry life right now too. So
well. Rod was having a hard time with it the other night. we did the open mic at Brothership the other day.
I heard that. Heard that turned out really well.
Oh my god, they had it locked in. I mean, it helps when you throw a cash prize out there.
Yeah,
helps when you.
I got the next date for my buddy. He wanted to be a part of it. So
yeah, it was actually a pretty cool event, man. I think they did it was a good for like the first time them doing it.
Especially in January. That can be difficult.
Exactly.
So that's cool.
Tough. It's a tough time.
Got to innovate. That's part of the game now, though. Is finding those events that are successful and also recognizing the ones that aren't and adapting and changing versus trying to force something to work,
For those of you guys who don't know, Jeremy runs Crafted 1979 in Mokina. Denver worker, our mutual friend and guy I worked for a number of years. But that great spot. Jeremy's kind of like your everyday face there, right? I mean, I guess.
Monday through Friday, minus January. Don't expect them to see me much in January. That's my my sabbatical.
My dog just brought an empty pizza box in the room and is licking.
It's like I could hear it. But
I'm like, what is happening behind you right now? I should do something about it. But hey, Thor, knock it off. Out of your mind. All right, sorry. He thinks that when I do this podcast that nobody's here to discipline him. So, and my family has left to go get food and stuff. So, anyways, getting back to the day and the situation. So I was curious and like it's kind of a weird curiosity. Like I don't think you're going to be offended by me asking this. So I'm comfortable enough to ask it. So when this happens, when they like what do you do? Are you sitting in a waiting room like while they have him upstairs?
Yeah.
So you picture like in the movies, right? Some doctor comes out and they like try to be very, and they tell you what happened. Yeah. So like, how did it happen? Like, are you guys all sitting in a room together, like family, and then somebody walks in and says?
So at the time, actually, my stepmother had stepped away to grab her phone charger because it had hit that point where as time passes and they say it should take this long and it's now been this long, you kind of realize like, things probably aren't going okay up there. And I mean, I had optimism, but I also was kind of, I could see it where, he looked like he was struggling. And I've seen that look. I've watched my mom and my grandparents, like I've seen it. So I understand. So, the one of the doctors came out and like I said, throughout this whole thing, like the hours in the ER, play by play every minute. everything.
Okay. So you're informed constantly.
Yeah. So the gentleman came out, and it's easy to read body language, and I'm sure it's hard for them to hide it sometimes when they know. And I knew it before he even told me.
Like as they approach you, just kind of like, this is not going to be good news.
I am kind of happy that I had that moment alone in a sense, because I needed to process it myself before I could be around anybody. So I had those few minutes of just like the emotion hitting and the realization, like, we went from 11 o'clock on the field to 5:25 being pronounced.
Fucking riding high, about to see all these professional athletes come out onto the field, and then
it's I said he was smiling out there, and part of the whole message and all this was that gentleman saved him on the field and brought him back for 4 to 5 hours that I might not have had with him if it wasn't for that guy being there.
So did that perspective hit you later on in the night? Like, oh my God, this guy like bought me.
Oh no, I realized right away, like just being in the ambulance and talking to him in the ER when we were first there, because I'd say the first hour or so was just he and I in there with doctors in and out, and he was coherent. Like we were conversing, and like I said, my dad never lost his personality until it really got bad that day. So, I find peace in that, because my last memory could have been him falling on the field and never getting to say anything.
Yeah.
So, those hours weren't as, like, I didn't realize as much right away, because obviously you have optimism. You think everything's going to be okay.
You weren't trying to cram fucking 20 years of, things you want to say.
I was trying to reassure him, like, you don't apologize. You're going to be okay, and try to give him strength to be strong through it. Like, it's hard to be strong when everybody in the room's freaking out and sad. Like, you got to give people the strength that they've given you. So that's what I tried to do.
Yeah, I mean, who would ever think that they'd be faced with something like that? And that the guy, what would you say that guy's name was again? Is he like a known Lions fan, like a guy who's is he one of, like the firemen and the Jets, for the Jets?
Walking through the game, it felt like he knew everybody in that stadium. I can tell you that.
I was wondering, like, what's he doing? Isn't he not from Detroit? Or he doesn't live in Detroit, right?
No, yeah.
I read the article that was, so I'm kind of piecing it together.
His wife's family's from Chicago.
Okay.
He's from the South. They live in Texas, but
that's right.
And for some reason I'm blanking, but I want to say Nebraska is where he went or grew up. And Barry Sanders' favorite player in college, so he that's how he got on the Lions bandwagon.
Love Barry Sanders.
Which Barry Sanders is my favorite player growing up. My grandpa was a Packers fan. Dad was a Bears fan. I ended up on the Lions side. So
yeah, was that early? Early on. That's great.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, I definitely watched a lot of football growing up, but also as a kid we play a lot of Madden. So that's. Getting to recreate those moves is also pretty 100%. Fun and exciting. So,
I used to love playing even like Tecmo Bowl into like those Madden days, when you kind of transition. But like having like Barry Sanders and Herman Moore, like the big studs, 84 man. Receiver out on the outside, those were. I remember being at my aunt's house Thanksgiving in the '90s and watching like the Bears get the shit kicked out of them by like not even that not like the Lions were ever but Barry Sanders, and like I said, Herman Moore, like they were insane. Never had a quarterback though. I feel like they never had. Never
the John Kitna era, the Joey Harrington.
That? John Kitna.
John Kitna won me a lot of money in fantasy football over the years.
Yeah, and I remember he actually
had some Cincinnati
he kept
years.
That career going. Like Kitna, he was a Seahawks with Cincinnati.
He's one of those journeyman guys.
The Cowboys at some point, right?
He did it.
Was he drafted by the Lions? Was he originally a Lion or was he originally a Bengal?
I feel like Bengals and then Lions. Because I think he was there for like the Peter Warwick and Corey Dillon years and all that. Oh my God, Peter Warwick, that's wild. Corey Dillon. Used to love me some Corey Dillon. Yeah. That boy could run. Yeah, so I mean, and all this happens, like you go home that night, at this point it's like right before Christmas. Yeah. Yeah.
So where's your head at for the next couple of days and what's the norm for Christmas and what did Christmas become this year? Like what the holidays in general?
So, admittedly for me, holidays are different than a lot. It's not that I don't celebrate or like look forward to them, but I also like understand the meaning of family. So the businesses I've always run are open on holidays, so I like to let my staff off because, having a staff that's happy and, again, wanting to be at work and not resenting the place they're at means a lot. And I'm always been the manager or the guy in charge, so I'm an only child. I don't have brothers or sisters. I have step family. I would go to my dad's on Christmas Day and do the with my step family. Christmas Eve was always on my mom's side. Mm-hmm. But Christmas, as I've gotten older, I still do celebrate with my dad, but like I said, I have a lot of friends that I consider family. So, sometimes it might be at Kenny's house or Kenny's family, which is the guy I live with, or another friend. Like I'm extended a lot of invites, which is a great feeling. So this year I spent Christmas Eve with Myra, who works for us. She's a newer addition to Crafted. She's like my little Hefe, as I call her.
Oh shit! I gotta meet Myra.
Yeah,
you guys post anything about her yet?
She's been on there. She's a little Latin girl. She's my buddy's girlfriend, and she was super raw coming in, and she's picked it up, man. She's
shaping them up.
She kills it back there, and you know what makes me happy, and I've told her this, and I tell a lot of people, like, she was very, what's the word? Like, if she's out with her boyfriend Justin, she's right on the side. Now her personality has blossomed.
She's out.
She's broke out her shell now. Okay. Yeah, so
she's taking the lead a little bit.
At Ira's, she's like one of the homies. She hangs out. She gives everybody shit. She's a little firecracker, and she brings a really different personality there that I think has been awesome.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I spent Christmas Eve at her house with her family, and
that's cool.
Had a great time. Played some loteria. Had some tamales.
All right, should I ask when I don't know what loteria is? Loteria?
Loteria? It's like Mexican bingo.
You said it so cool too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's cool though. Her little niece is
Wait, is it Mexican? Is it like the cards?
It's like a bingo card
with little pictures on them?
Yeah. Dude, so it's a good way to learn Spanish
with El Borracho on there? Dude, that was like the drunkard?
See,
drunkard guy? Yeah, that's what we played that shit in high school. Yeah.
Yeah, her niece was our official card reader, and she really brought some excitement to the game too. So
dude, that's awesome.
We had some great, played a bunch of games and had a few drinks. We Justin and I have been wanting to try the Corazon Expression bottles.
Is this a Justin that I don't know then?
Probably not. He's a buddy. He's an Indiana guy. I'm integrating the Indiana people into the Mokina.
You've been doing that for years. You've been doing that shit for years.
We just don't have anything out there.
Combining the Illinois and Mokina, or Indiana and Mokina people for years.
The Mokina people used to come to Vikings, so it's cool to reciprocate now and get the Indiana people, because Indiana really doesn't have anything like a Crafted or a bottle shop, or like
they just can't, right? Like,
since COVID, the laws have changed. If I'm being honest, and I hate saying it because I still live in the region and I love the region, but the region wouldn't appreciate it. I really don't think that. You look at the breweries out there and you look at the stuff that people really enjoy. It's just not on the level of Chicagoland, and I also Gnosis is killing it out there, and
dude. So good.
They're doing it because they're doing all styles, and there's passion behind the beers. It's not just basic like shelf beers, and I'm not going to name breweries and bash them. People know I'm
just kidding, dude.
There's just not a lot of good beer flown in the region, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer,
and there's not a lot of attraction. Like Floyd's Taproom has been closed for years.
Right. You could go to Windmill and go to Dyer.
Windmill,
you could go to Three Floyds at that point. It was worth going over there. You could drive out to Misbehaving, or you want to get some good sticky jammy meads, that.
Gnosis has become the main destination, and it's good. It's good.
I'm glad I haven't been there.
They still have some room to evolve, which is great too.
I was at the.
They finally got the boat out of the kitchen area.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen any of it.
Yeah. You got to come out. So to tie into all this.
Shout out to Tony. I love Tony. I should have him on here.
He's got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I should have him on here. I wonder if he'd want to do it. I'll have to holler at him one day.
But so February 8th is my dad's birthday, and
no shit,
we are doing a member outing for Crafted at Gnosis, where we're going to brew a collab with them in his honor. So he'll be featured on the label.
No shit.
And it'll be a lot of inspiration on there.
Do you already know what you're doing?
We're going to do a German style, like lager or pills. Okay. Yeah. My dad was German.
Is that his thing?
He's a light
drinker,
beer.
or is he?
He was, and then slowed down. He was more of a social drinker now than like Yeah, even me, like I couldn't tell you last beer I've had at home. Really, he's a social drinker. Like
I wish I could say that about myself.
you also, it's different circumstances. You have a wife and kids, and
drinks too, man.
Yeah,
she likes to drink with me.
Yeah,
she's
but
an enabler.
Yeah,
this is on her now. See,
you got sports dad. There's a lot going on. Oh,
they fucking the place that Joseph plays baseball for now. They just put a bar or restaurant right in the fucking facility.
Yeah, they're just like, here, we'll enable
2-hour practice.
Yeah.
Sure. What am I gonna do? So this last 15 days has been a struggle. So
oh yeah, the dry life. You gotta tell them they gotta get some NAs in there.
The dry life. I'm taking Saturday off to go to Kemp's, and then I'm right back to it for the rest of the month, and we'll see. Well, I cut out coffee, nicotine, and beer and alcohol for the month. So we'll see. That's
I'm trying
easy
for me.
I'm trying. Well,
I don't do coffee. I don't do any caffeine.
I don't smoke, so I don't have to cut weed out, man. I still do have some weed in the garage. I just never smoke it. It's just sitting up there, and that's why I was asking you before we started. I was asking
for somebody who doesn't smoke, it'll still be fine.
It's in right. It's in like a fucking medicine bottle, like inside of a bag.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Like a little one hitter.
It'll be good for a special occasion.
That's okay. Good. See, that's the kind of advice I needed. Yeah. But going back to like you were talking about the new employee at Crafted and all that. Like that was something that after my time, like I learned at Crafted. Like I didn't have any bartending experience or anything. Like it was just Dan in Denver at the time, and and Ashley was there, and they were just like, we just need somebody that has a personality, like somebody that can keep customers around. And like I think the first thing that I started to learn was like making people feel special when they come in, and I think that was something that you always did. Like the first time I know I met you, I remember feeling like I knew you because I didn't. And I remember being like kind of thrown back, like being like, damn, it's like fucking this guy knows me already. Yeah. And it's like just because maybe you knew one person that I knew, somehow I was like, there was no like feeling each other out and nothing like that. It was just like, that's my guy right here. Like and it was something that I sit with that. It was something when Rod went to Crafted, like that was something
Rod could talk to anybody.
I told Rod, I was like, that dude, just show people love. That's the only advice I can give you about being a guy. Like I don't give a shit how you pour the beer and the way you do, like I was like, when people walk through the door, make them feel like you want them there.
Yeah.
Like that was always
for sure
my thing.
Yeah.
And I just love like when I get to meet people that already had that in them.
Yeah.
Like, and you've been that guy.
Yeah. And even, for me, like I had minimal bartending experience. I've managed Taproom, but like COVID is the reason that I went from being a sales rep to being behind the bar, because first one to test negative, business can open, let's make some money. So
that's right. You were always a fucking hustler, man. Like,
yeah, I was on the road hustling.
You were just like, so you just work.
I got tired of those miles though, that's for sure.
So walk me through your entry and you know what, real quick, let's cheers to your dad real quick. Let's put a bow on Wally's story here. But I mean, not that we won't come back to it, but just I didn't want to transition so abruptly from that conversation. But I do want to go through like your journey, because I met you as a beer guy, like that. Yeah. Like so where did you first get involved? Like working at a liquor store? Like how young were you when you started to be like a part of beer? Whether it or alcohol, even
probably like 2010, maybe 2010. Just the cooler guy at home with liquors.
Sounds
just
dope.
Living in literally just keeping the shelves full, watching the beer fly, stock it up, keep it full. And those people, like I said, the same owners of Chug-a-Lug and some of the other places I've worked, but those people, what a work ethic, and they've taught me so much, and those people are family to me too. Like they're a big reason I am who I am because of everything they taught me. So, started as the cooler guy there, and that was kind of when I feel like the craft beer scene was really starting to evolve.
Oh shit, are you talking 2010, 2011, 2012?
Yeah.
It's like it's a good start right there for Chicagoland.
Yeah.
Right?
So we put in like a huge
starts hitting heavier. And Three Floyds obviously.
Put in a big coolers in the back for the craft beer, and it was one of those things where, he's like, somebody needs to learn this stuff. So I told him, pay me more money. I got to learn. I got to try it to learn it, right? So.
Something I always admired about you is like you always seem to know your worth, and you've never been like, I don't have that kind of confidence to speak up like that. But that's probably because I haven't put the work in that you put in. So like you do have that confidence because you're confident in the amount of work you'll put in, the amount of work that you have put in.
Yeah, I don't half-ass shit.
100%. That's a good way. That's a good way to look at it. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it just I mean, if you're gonna do something, be good at it. Especially if I turned a career working in a liquor store into managing, a bottle shop, or also managing a 600-person complex for a couple of years.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say seamlessly. There was a lot of learning going on there.
Well, sure.
And learning for all of us. I mean, these are people who ran liquor stores taking a chance on a new business, new concept. And, opening weekend, Square and Comcast crash on the same night,
Perfect.
Or Toast, I'm sorry, not Square.
Perfect.
But yeah, it's just like it's 600 people in here ordering food.
Get the fuck out.
Internet's
of here.
not working, tickets are printing, but
so you went cooler guy and Homewood, and then what was the kind of the progression through there? Was it through Homewood, or was it when did you get into the craft, working in the craft beer world?
Well, Homewood started it because, like I said, we put the coolers in, and the craft beer scene was evolving. So I mean, we put in 15 craft doors, so it's substantial.
That's crazy,
and I went from there to not only working there and as a manager, but at the other stores that they own. At one point we took over Santori's and the 3 Lansing stores. Blue Island is another affiliate, so there's multiple locations, and I was doing the beer orders for all these stores. And
so you're managing all these locations, making sure that they're stocked with. Are you just taking care of the craft side at this point? Or
domestic,
you're still dealing with the Busch Lights and the fucking Budweisers?
And that's a great challenge because the demographics different everywhere, and every store is built to run differently. So it makes you pay attention more, and like I said, if you don't care about your stuff, I've never ran a store that just puts junk beer on shelves,
Right.
I care about dates, and I try to be super conscious about rotation. And it's hard when you have staff being turned over at a lot of places,
Constant.
but you got to work through it, and that's what I try to do. So doing all those, and then finally got an opportunity at Liquor Stop in Highland, Indiana, which was owned by a multitude of people, and they brought me in to run the front, the staffing and all the beer stuff. And that place, I mean, we had 35 cooler doors in there. So
wow.
That place really gave me an opportunity of you do it. This is yours to run now, in a sense, for the whole beer and presentation of the business. And, your eyes are the first thing that are going to sell you on something. So, coming in and seeing nice displays, place being lit up, clean aisles, everything's faced. And these are things, being taught early on that I still try to teach. Even at Crafted, I'm constantly face
visual.
Those bottles, and, when people look behind the bar, if it looks sloppy, people judge. You may not think everybody, but
right, exactly.
And everything's a reflection on me if I'm the one in charge. So I want you to get the same experience when I'm not there.
You do have some natural leadership qualities about your whole mindset and your approach and the way. Yeah, have you always felt like that, or if you feel like that's something that just kind of developed and you kind of got comfortable with over time?
I've always felt like it, but I don't think I've always been good at it. Everything comes through a little fault where you pick up things, and I'll be the first one to admit I've not always been the best one to the way I say things to staff, and I still have faults about that.
Oh, you can be a little bit more blunt than some people
very blunt.
Well,
not a little bit. I'm very blunt.
It's also a different world. I mean,
but
it's changed over time. I think
it's different when you have a established relationship with these people that they know, you're saying it because you want them to do better, not just call them out or make them feel stupid.
Yeah.
Sometimes we joke, and again, that's part of having. Going back to working the holidays, I always want the people who work with me or for me, whatever my position is, to enjoy what I bring to the table and also not resent being around me. That's a big thing. I've felt it at numerous jobs.
And still get the most out of them.
Yeah.
And it's a business and it's got to be profitable.
Sean is a great one about taking feedback and understanding, and Sean is, I tell him all the time, you frustrate the hell out of me, but you are the most genuine person to step up anytime we need. Sean's there for you. And, I told him it hurts me to say things to you sometimes because
I don't want to critique you.
I don't want to, but I also don't want you to enable you to continue it, So, I give Sean credit for, listening to me kind of get on him sometimes about, mistakes or just things that are missed. And again, it's not to make anybody feel stupid. And I hope it never feels that way. And I've told people if I'm ever too much, say something because I don't want to be that guy. And I have been that guy. So I'm conscious that like nobody's perfect,
So once you're kind of embedded into liquor stop, right? And you 35 doors, like obviously you're dealing with a lot of shit, and then like all this time you're probably maybe even not even knowingly like building relationships with all these craft guys.
Indiana really changed it where like Illinois, you don't see the reps, at least for me at that time in the position at a chain liquor store. You're not seeing those direct reps that you really get to build those relationships that lead to like, where we're at now, like being able to tap these crazy sanctuary kegs on a Friday in January and getting a lot of allocated items. Like it takes time to build that, but if nobody's present, you can't ever build that. So Liquor Stop changed that a lot where I'm dealing directly with a lot of self-distro and a lot of like direct reps because I think that was the number one liquor store in Indiana, or at least in Northwest Indiana when I started working there as far as craft beer volume sales. Okay. So it was a destination for them as much as I'm trying to get their stuff. So
at this point, are you into it? Like, are you liking the products that you're bringing in? Like, you're like, I'm kind of digging hops or digging, whatever.
I mean, I was IPAs to start. We just had an event at Crafted in December that was like a kind of fun throwback. We called it the Christmas Classics, but Avery Maharaja is like a nostalgia one for me.
Holy shit. Yeah.
So we had that on tap, and that was cool. Upland Coastbuster was another one where like, I used to be on that Stone Dank IPA, that hoppy madness. So
it's delicious. Enjoy buys.
I still like a lot of people have graduated to the lager life, and
I'm still a hop guy.
I'll do some Modelo's, but I'm drinking an IPA out at a bar. If I'm going out,
I'm all hops.
I want something fresh. I don't just do hazy. I like a West Coast. I'm good with an American IPA.
Definitely gone back to the West Coast. There's definitely a preference right now in the last couple of years, but I still buy the hazies. Yeah. I still love them. I'm not embarrassed. There's like a point where you were supposed to be like almost embarrassed that you still liked them because remember it was always they'll go away. No, they're still like the number one seller.
No, I mean IPAs still pay the bills over there. Yeah.
I mean IPAs in general have always paid the bills, right? But now like the hazy class that really
the milkshake faded out.
Yeah, that one faded out. Like the overly fruited sours are starting to settle down a little bit.
But I sold a lot of milkshake in my time. That's where that was the next evolution was good old Luther right here with your beautiful shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, show it off.
I mean, I saw it in the closet, and I was like, "Jeremy's coming." I feel like this is part of our origin story.
I mean, it really is.
That's Jake.
That was where I ended up. I became their first salesman. I was their top account, and it got to that point where it was time to evolve and put somebody on the road to.
So when you walked in the doors there, did you hear about the place first? How did you even think to apply? Were you hanging out there every now and again?
I was selling their beer at Liquor Stop. That was when Mikey was the brewer. And
so you're talking. You walked in. It's Mikey, Justin, Scott.
Pretty much, yeah. And I think there was who there. Like AJ's always been like unofficial or official part of there. I know he was helping, and then. I think Zach was there in the back when I got there.
Tremendous.
Yeah,
that guy is fucking tremendous.
He's crazy.
I love that dude.
And then Kevin was running the bar most nights. Allie was there. There tons of people. So
Chris wasn't involved over there, right?
Chris came on because of me. I brought him on. As things grew there. With Indy, Fort Wayne, South Bend.
Yes.
It's a lot for one person to do efficiently.
Hop station, all that stuff.
So Chris was unhappy at the his account where he was running.
That's right. I forgot about that shit.
The owner unfortunately passed away there. And
that was wild.
It kind of went through some change in management, and it didn't really work out well. And
crazy story.
Chris ended up coming on board.
Do you know how Chris and I met?
Didn't you used to trade? Was it? Yeah.
It was the only beer trade I'd ever done in my life.
Really?
I was working at Craft, and obviously you get surrounded by all these guys at Crafted that trade beers. Mm-hmm. Shit, I may not know. This was before I started at Crafted. This was I was doing the podcast. I was doing it as like a hobby. You know, I think I did like I don't know, like a lot of episodes before I worked for Crafted. So I was in my corporate job still that I'm back in now. But Chris was listening to the podcast, and he reached out to me, and he's like, I'm so tired of hearing you talk about how you've never had Treehouse and Trillium. He's like, I have these cans. He's like, do you want to do like a trade? Can you give me some Hot Butcher? And you know, I can't remember. Phase 3 was even what more and stuff. I think he wanted at the time. So I met him at like a Portillo's, like near the Indiana Illinois line.
Okay,
my wife and all of us, and we went out there, and he gave me some good stuff, and I was like, and from there he and I just became friends. We kept in touch and shit, and you know, hung out with him. And then once he got into the industry himself, it was such a crazy, you know, he was just like, oh yeah, I just followed like all the shit you always talk about. Like, I'm like, oh yeah,
we used to do a lot.
Not sure if that was a good thing for him or a bad thing for him. Hopefully.
We would do the 450 runs when he worked he was working at a place called Tap House. So
yes, that was it.
We would do the 450 runs when that was all blown up.
I love that dude, by the way. I do love that dude. Is he getting jacked right now? Is he getting yoked? He's getting yoked at the gym.
I mean, you know, he's on the dry life as well, and you know, just focusing on his son and working, and you know, just trying to be good. So
yeah, that's all he wants.
That's all we can do these days, right?
He wants to be a good dad. I mean, that's
dude, his kid's great too, man.
He's dope. Good kid.
He's growing up, and it's cool to see Grayson's a trip.
He's a badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I sidetracked us a little bit. So you start working for Windmill, right? And you roll in there, and they were always odd to me. It was like when I found out about them, it was like, were they distroing a little, like in Indiana a little bit? Sorry,
I didn't know.
You all right? You need something?
I unplugged a little bit.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I still hear you.
No, we're good. I got it.
You hear me?
No, I got you. Yeah, we're good.
The weed's kicking. No.
Faded off.
Are you hearing everything all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm out of there? Okay, cool. Yeah, so they were like, they were distributing a little bit around Indiana.
Yeah, they were doing just like super limited self-distro. I think like
is this like Peaches and Memes and stuff? Like what was?
Was that all the OG memes and all that stuff too. If by Citra, Pale Dutch Boy.
Yeah,
all the flagship
the turtle one wasn't.
No, even turtle? But I mean, even like going way back, like single, double, triple, and a lot of like the fun styles that like, you know, a lot of the saisons and Belgian style that, you know, is craft beer. A lot of that traditional fun stuff kind of faded out a little bit.
Yeah,
but that was a lot of the stuff we were selling back then. You know, at Liquor Stop was all the OG stuff, like super OG stuff. So obviously, as you know, the industry evolved, so did Windmill.
Jeez.
So the milkshake, I mean, they blew up with the milkshakes.
They killed it too.
And you know, not only that though, like doing a lot of hazy IPAs, traditional. Mm-hmm. You know, had a lot of big barrel aged stouts.
Citra was one of my favorite
Citra,
for a long time. Like so good.
Yeah,
so good.
So, the Windmill days of just building that brand. You know, as I came on, I was the first salesman, so. That's where we started expanding distro locally, and then Indy, and then Hop Station, which is the best place in Indiana.
What's old boy's name that owns that place? I know that.
The Stubers. There's Casey and DJ.
Stubers.
Fun fact, DJ and I share a birthday.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm actually going there Friday.
With me and Evan.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, me and the Phase 3 boys.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out Evan and Sean over there.
Just talked to him this morning. Talked to Evan this morning on the phone for a little bit.
He sent me a nice message after everything happened, man.
Yeah.
And again, like, you know, you realize, like, you know, you may not talk to these people all the time, but people care even if you don't see them, you know. Yeah. So, but I'm going to Hop Station Friday. I'm
sweet.
Looking forward to seeing the boys before I get back to work.
Out there.
Let's figure it out, man.
Justin always talked about it too. Like you guys all always.
It's fun, man. They got like 30 plus taps, great spirit selection, and then a good kitchen in there too. Like
they remind me of like the Kemps of you know, like they're a little bit low.
One day I'll take you there, and you take me to Kemps another day.
Kemps.
Deal.
Kemp's anytime, brother. Anytime I can go to Kemp's, I'm in. You mean you've met Kemp before, right? I mean, Kemp's the best.
Yeah, he'll come in.
Best guy ever.
And then we could visit Tyson down there.
Oh, that's what we're doing. I'm meeting Tyson at the Still to start the day. So we're gonna go eat a little food at the Still, and then we're gonna meet Pouch him and the wives, and then we're gonna run over to meet Josh and Charlotte and a bunch of people over at White Oak.
Nice.
Hang out at White Oak with the boys, and then we're gonna go to Kemp's and finish it off.
Full day.
Oh, it's gonna be a good one. I can't wait. So yeah, you started off just you were kind of like. So how did that go? Like when you started with Windmill, was it a little bit of just had to like earn your keep there a little bit for a while,
sure.
and then like eventually did they start to kind of open up to you being a little bit more of a decision maker and like, hey, we need to do some events, we need to do like, we need to distribute in a different way, like we need to start making. Let me talk about the brew schedule with you.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's part of like growing your team is being able to offer the opportunity to do these things that you didn't have. So, what's that?
Get in there, dude. That's that hot water. Can't help yourself.
That's that January cold not wanting to go away.
You know what? I love it though. I honestly do like it. That was my last 4-pack. I think I bought 3 4-packs. I'm gonna have to go buy a few more.
Yeah, but you know, it's it gives you the opportunity to do things that you weren't able to do. So we started doing events. Started planning out. You know, what do we need for distro, taproom, etc. And you know, just started to evolve the business. So, we started Indianapolis distro, and then again bringing Chris on, opened up South Bend and Fort Wayne. So,
Paper Boy, the crispy boy, wasn't that his the beer that was like kind of like him on the label, looked like the Paper Boy logo.
I gotta cough it out.
Dude, you got. He's trying to lozenge up. He's trying to.
Yeah, stuck a little cough drop in.
I mean, what? I mean, this be the time we're supposed to start talking about weed, I guess, huh? We should start talking about the crazy festival you just put on not too long ago.
Yeah, sip and burn, man. Shout out Angel.
Sip and burn. Man, we got him on a coughing fit. He's coming off that thing that everybody's been getting.
Yeah,
I had it a
only
couple weeks ago. Yeah, me too. Because a lot of people shit in their pants. A lot of people are out here.
Still to this day, no COVID.
So no shit.
Never.
That's crazy.
You know,
good for you.
And that was like I said with you know, COVID hitting and the bartending change. Like you know, I was the first one to test negative, and then back then, you know, you're testing all the time.
Yeah.
As soon as somebody gets it. Never.
Those were wild days. Those were wild.
Never.
Yeah, so it's not like you just like didn't test, and that's why why you never
hundreds of tests, dude.
Yeah,
hundreds of tests. You know, I literally, you know, to go back to my dad's thing, like
shoving them up your nose.
I've been off, you know, since the incident, and I've been sick like about half of the time. So
damn.
I like took a test that morning. I'm like, I don't want to be that guy at the service.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like I wasn't gonna go.
Not like, right, but you might have taken some extra precautions in some way or another.
A little peace of mind felt good, though. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no shit. That's quite a thing to be thinking about on top of what was happening.
You know, this is, you know, unfortunately, it's you know, like you said, a lot of people sick. So
everywhere, man. Hospitals are filled up. They're asking people to wear masks again and shit at the hospitals now. It's you know, it's getting wild again. But different shit apparently, huh? RSV and all this other stuff. Okay, so you fly through this journey in craft beer. Windmill, I feel like, is when I kind of picked you up as a friend and as a human. I was hearing about you. People were talking about this Jeremy guy over at Windmill, and then you were there for quite a while. How many years do you think you were at Windmill?
So I was there for, I think, like 2 years originally, and then I did leave for a brief period, and I ended up coming back just because I missed it, and you know, Justin made me a good offer to come back. But Windmill was a great challenge. Like it offered me that first opportunity to evolve. Like, you know, the liquor store was easy, you know, and even now I could walk in and
get dialed in.
You know, it's like it's a consistent business where you're just, you know, order, restock, sell, order, restock, sell. Like it sounds simple, and you know, not everybody can do it, but you know, going to Windmill was a change of pace. You know, you're helping package, you know, again, like you said,
even more
at some point
pop
making decisions, and like, you know, you have to go introduce people to this product that might not have ever heard of it before. So, you know, you're working a lot harder now. So Windmill was super cool. Learned so much there. You know, Scott and Justin were always awesome. So, you know, hit that point at Windmill where it was like, what's next? And especially with having Chris, like, you know, we were at a point where we were making as much beer as we could at that time, and I was looking to do something different. So I stepped away, and then Chris took the ball and ran with it. But I ended up over at Wild Rose because that's where I jumped in the taproom side.
Oh, dude, wow! How did I forget about Wild Rose? I totally forgot about that whole.
I know.
Part.
I mean,
what was Wild Rose? It was like it was a restaurant.
So it's a brewery. They
like
also have a good kitchen in there.
Right, they had a kitchen. Right.
Another similar to Crafted in a sense of like such a great regular clientele that support the business. But a lot of people forget too because that was the COVID times. Like not all the time I was, I was at Windmill during COVID and we started the home delivery service and a lot of online ordering. And it's crazy to say, but like while I was there, we had some of our best days during COVID. Like the Cheesecake Ninja Turtles release.
Oh
like
my God.
That was
insane.
Beer
was awesome. That beer was awesome.
I think that was the last beer that released while I was there, if I remember right. Because I left right after that day we visited you at Phase 3. Like that was around like when I had left there. So Wild Rose was cool because it offered me an opportunity to evolve again, like making more decisions, on beer styles and trying to get new stuff into their regular cycle, and then also like being in the tap room and getting that experience. Like I had never been a part of any sort of like kitchen I wasn't running a kitchen or anything, but just customer service with food is different,
You're seeing it, right? You're seeing it. That was always my thing. When Phase 3 was talking about opening in Elmhurst, it was like I didn't even want to put my toe into the food side of things.
It's tricky, man. Yeah, like Chug-a-Lug definitely was. I'm a little scarred from dealing with it there, but also it's just like, again, like there was a lot of growing pains with like.
Is Chug-a-Lug still operating?
Oh yeah,
and shit? Like,
they actually. I don't know if it's official, but I'm pretty sure they just bought Northwoods in St. John over there.
Oh, okay.
And it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be a Chug-a-Lug, but I think they're gonna change the name because I hate the name personally, and they know that. But I just feel like for a place that is a complex that holds 600 people and has like it's a nicer establishment. Like Chug-a-Lug seems very corner bar-ish to me. Like
okay,
it's to me that's like a frat bar,
right? Just the naming of it. Right?
I wouldn't think that's a rooftop place with a cigar lounge.
Yeah, it had like all these classy elements to it. It's kind of a spectacle. It's that rooftop is pretty intense.
Very much still open. Food's excellent there. I literally just had a great New York strip the other day. That's like my late night treat sometimes. Like when I leave Crafted, not a lot of kitchens are open late, especially on like Mondays or other days. Yeah. So sometimes it's right off the highway. Stop in a little New York strip with a nice loaded baked potato. It hits the spot. You're getting me a little hard right now. It might be the stop tonight.
Hell yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about.
It's karaoke night tonight though, so you got to listen to a little bit of good and bad.
You're not gonna be able to sing tonight.
No, I'm not a singer, but I love karaoke night. It's a vibe. Yeah. I used to go to a lot of them. When I used to run Liquor Stop, we would go to a place called Our Bar over there in Highland, and they would do karaoke night and. It's a trip.
That sounds like a corner dive bar too. Chug-a-Lug and Our Bar should be.
Yeah, Our Bar's a weird name, but that's another place that evolved from like a 1 unit, and they have like 3 units. It's beautiful inside, great kitchen. They have like chef ops and a lot of like European style because the owners, they're not. But it's great. I love that place. That's like my go-to around town. If I want a nice meal and a quick little beer or something like that.
So. You're flying through all this and then eventually. So did you go from Wild Rose to Chug-a-Lug?
Wild Rose to Viking.
Oh, that's right, Viking. Jesus, Justin, how's Justin doing?
It seems like he's got something up his sleeve. I've been seeing his posts looking for a little help with some stuff. Right. So, we chat a little bit. Life's just crazy. Again, it's one of those things.
Totally.
And we were just talking about hanging out, but then all this happened. So, definitely somebody I got to circle back and get on the schedule, but. I hope he's doing good.
What a wild ride Viking was.
I feel like no news is good news sometimes, to an extent. So,
remember the first time somebody gave me one of those beers before, like he had the facility and all that. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Like that was crazy. Yeah, like the Blue Frost Gatorade.
The Windmill Anniversary, was my first real like time to try it when we invited him out that year, and I ended up pouring for him because everybody was so hype. I was like. Go talk to the people,
Go talk to some people. Well, I think the dragon fruit, passion fruit one.
Yeah,
like he was.
It was that and the orange hard candy. Those were the first two.
It was like nobody he'd even thought about this stuff out here at that time when he was doing that. He was a fun podcast too. Him and Aaron were a good time, like sitting down with those guys. Yeah, always liked it. And we found out we both were little lame rollerbladers when we were. Actually, he took it a little bit farther. I think he was a really good
skater boy.
He was like a good rollerblader. He could tear some shit up. He had some like good magazine layouts and shit.
Yeah.
I mean that was a whole thing because that was like a couple of different facilities, right? And it was it used to be like your membership and you come wait for your beer or whatever, and then a tap room, and you're running that place.
Yeah, I came on when the tap room
shit
started.
From fucking Indiana, and
we brought the slushies
450, to you, all that stuff. Like you had a bunch of different shit.
Yeah, it was the fruit stand. That's where the fruit stand really evolved.
Jeremy's fruit stand.
Yeah, that was the peak though. That was like the milkshakes were the first wave, and then after that it went to that fruited sour, and it was like as thick and must be refrigerated as you could get. Yeah. That's what everybody wanted.
Shit will explode. Like
yeah. I still have stains on my fence from some shit beer. So
that's awesome.
It's actually I literally asked for this beer only for the label. It just says Trump smokes mids, and it's just a hilarious picture. But half of them blew up in the mail. And when I opened the one outside, it looked like a murder scene in my backyard. I mean, my fence is still stained.
No shit.
Yeah, as a cotton candy.
Still happening these days? Yeah. Still happening?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, not for me. I mean, I'll try them, but I mean.
You're not seeking them out, though.
It's different when you don't drink anyways. Like, you don't want to try everything anymore. Like, I mean, now it's big stouts, barley wines, and IPAs for me.
So what spurred the chug-a-lug thing? Like where I mean, I'm guessing the relationship that you had in the past with them, and they're opening this. Like, what was your first thought? You're like, this seems terrifying, or you're like, this is a challenge. I can.
Well, the original concept was pitched to me different than what it ended up being. So that's also one thing. But I had left Viking, did a brief period at Crafted, and I mean, it's one of those things again where it's like. Crafted, I think, was going through the Dan and Denver, split, and I wanted a chance to evolve, and Crafted wasn't offering that at the time. So I made the move that I felt was necessary to continue my career, and again, learned so much there. Put that whole place together with the kitchen. What an experience.
Yeah, you were there from like the get.
Yeah, we opened. I came on, I think, in April. I think we opened finally in June.
Oh shit! April and Jesus, that was so quick.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I came into a shell and just watched the whole place be built and help make decisions on equipment needed and how to set things up.
Everything. It was fucking skee ball and pop a shot and.
Oh, that place is killer. It's a vibe.
Throwing.
Yeah, no more axe throwing now. The insurance got too crazy with that.
Really? That's funny.
But even now, there's a nightclub next door. Same owners. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
What's that called?
Amchi Nights.
Amchi Nights. All right. They got to change Chug-a-Lug.
I got to kill this cough, man.
They got to change Chug-a-Lug. Hey, man, it's what's going down right now, man. I can live with it as long as you can.
I'm not coughing in the mic, I promise, for whoever's next.
You're being so sweet. You're being so sweet with it. So tell me more about the passion for the green. I mean, like you obviously we touched on the sip and burn thing. Like have you when did you start? Like when did you really like get into that whole world? I mean, now it's like such a commercial big thing, right? I mean, it's Illinois, it's legal, all that. Like how long have you?
I mean, my first hit was
one of those kids?
15 years old.
Right.
I took my first hit and lost my virginity the same day. It was a great day.
This is tied to me forever.
Good old Idle Hands. I'll forever love Jessica Alba in that movie.
Hell yeah, dude.
That brings back good memories. So,
Idle Hands.
I mean, back then, even and again, like I said, now, it's not as crazy as people think. I have a lot of anxiety in it, and sometimes it just calms me down, but also sometimes it helps me focus. Like. I don't act like I always use it for medical purposes. I mean, there is some recreational use, but I'm very much like a advocate of like I can smoke marijuana and function on a whole day, no matter how much. Like it doesn't shut me down. But I also realize that not everybody's like that too, and I'm not going to be that guy who's like, come on. Like I have been
just
that
like
guy.
me. You have to do like I do. Do you buy all Are you buy into all the strains and the different effects and like how do you kind of have a strategy in mind for how you map it out? Like, if it's daytime, I'm doing sativa versus.
I just want a different flavor. I'm like, it's like the craft beer, man.
You say flavor, like you literally like taste.
Oh yeah,
like when you say flavor. Like,
different strains definitely taste different. But I just like different. Like today is GMO and mix of that and booty clapper.
What's GMO?
It's actually like I think if I remember right, it's garlic, mushroom, onion is like what it actually stands for.
Oh, really?
That's it's a funky boy.
Okay,
but it's I mean that's a pretty popular strand. Yesterday was Kush berries.
I think I caught booty clapper in there.
Booty clapper.
I already like the name of that one.
Yeah. So, I mean I'm not really indica sativa. I prefer a hybrid, but
okay.
Like I said, I function on anything. So
and we talked a little bit, like you're consuming, like you're pretty much sticking to flower at this point.
Yeah, the vapes, the vapes are very easy to enable yourself to just fucking rip, and they rip, they rip my chest a little bit. The cough I have now from just being sick, compounded with like that. I mean, the vapes tear me up inside. So like I don't mess with those. I just cold turkey one day was like. I'm tired of I was losing my voice on days where I'm just hitting it so much,
and it's just like it's right there, and it's like readily. There's no ritual to go through to hit it. Like it's just,
and you become kind of ignorant. Where I laughed at myself. I was the guy in Chugga yelling at everybody for smoking inside, and then here I am walking in a brewery ripping my vape like I'm that asshole, and I don't and I almost felt like ignorant about it. So I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So natural flower now for me, and then I'll eat some edibles here and there, before my flight the other day and stuff like that. But I'm not looking to just get zombified. I just it keeps me level throughout a day. But if I don't have when I flew to Detroit, I didn't smoke or do anything. I was fine. Like I don't crave for it, but I enjoy the way it levels me out when I need it to.
So, do you have like an ideal state, like an achieved state that you want to get to? Are you or do you have like method? I know if I have two of this, like, are you a blunt guy? You a joint guy?
Used to be.
What do you like?
Blunts will tear you up
quick
too.
Little one hitter.
Yeah, now it's just a simple chill, man. Simple like packet hit or two, and part of it I think is like the motion of just doing it. Like you kind of are like. Stopping what you're doing and just like your mind just takes a break.
In for a second.
You're not like I used to hit it a lot when I would run the liquor stores because like say I order 30 beers but I only have like 24 spots. Now I got to play some Tetris.
Nice. And helps your mind relax.
Sometimes like you're just like and it's like let me just reset and that's enough for me. Like I've had the days of smoking blunt after blunt, and I mean, we did throw the private event in July, like we were talking about. That was at Amchi Nights, and
so you did it right there. Okay,
yeah. We actually had, I think we went through about 3.5 ounces that day between everybody.
Jesus Christ, was that Carlos used to be at 18th Street, Ramos? Was he there?
No. Efron was there.
Efron was. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Miss Efron.
Yeah. It was a random one. He hit me up out of nowhere. That. So,
he was a fucking weed dude. He could make.
Yeah, he brought some good edibles that day.
He can make some edibles, boy. He can make some cool shit.
Yeah, but I mean that was cool. That was Sip and Burn. It was just
break it down for people like what it was if they weren't a part of it.
So private event. I got 6 different kegs for people. We had a Hot Butcher IPA. We had Red Barley Wine, more Barrel Aged Stout, Seeds Lager, Gnosis IPA, and Brothership Seltzer. So a nice variety for everybody. All you could drink on the beers, cash bar, tons of food included, and then on top of that, it was 420 friendly, so anybody could smoke, and I supplied. It was part of your ticket essentially. So. We had one of the booths. If you're familiar with a nightclub setting, there's a lot of like couch areas which are like the different seating, and there was just one booth area where you just walk up and we had a bunch of stuff rolled up for you to partake, and enjoy.
No shit.
But then we also Sip and Burn is the name of our good friend Angel's Coquito, and so it was also an ode to him. We supplied a whole bunch of Coquito on the house. We infused a bunch of bottles with THC. And we just had like a fun night. My dad was there.
No shit.
Dad had a great time.
Dad smoked a little bit.
He did. My stepmother had cancer, so she's got her med card. So he would partake with her. And again, it was more of a social thing than like a everyday get messed up. But my dad liked to come out, and like I would take him to breweries, and he liked to see the person I became. Like you said. You say I'm like the craft beer guy. Like, it's a proud moment to see somebody that everybody kind of knows your name, and like people are excited to see you. And so it was cool to bring my dad around that and let him experience like, I'm doing good, man, and I'm happy to show you that. So
I always wonder what people think of us when like we see each other out, and then like people outside of us see each other, and like all of us, like when everybody wants to hug.
Detroit was great. Nobody knew me. Like I was like, Ben is that guy over here, and I'm okay. Like, because I can't go to a ball game in Chicago without somebody finding me. I mean, obviously, I'm always in a jersey. This is a rare non-jersey day, but we're repping Detroit.
But you look good. You look so good
for good reason. And I mean. Always got the beard, always got the jersey. I'm pretty easy to spot.
You keep one of the cleanest beards too. You always keep
not
your
clean
shit.
right
I know,
now.
not right now. That's what I'm saying. I was thinking about that.
My schedule's off right now because of the trip and
you
everything.
Keep your shit lined up so good.
I go to the barber once a week. Hair, beard, and eyebrows.
One dude?
Yeah, Hair Jordans in Highland, Indiana.
Your fucking eyebrows are sick though.
My homie Jordan, he takes good care of me. So hair, beard, and eyebrows once a week. I haven't shaved my own face in years.
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that's like almost like how I'm talking about smoking in a sense of like, that's my hour to like turn both phones off, not be bothered, not
Jeremy time.
I don't have stress. I just sit in the chair and let him do his thing, and it's relaxing.
A little conversation, a little chitty chat.
Oh yeah, a lot of sports talk.
Sports talk.
A lot of football. This year I ran a guillotine league, so that was fun to kind of.
Oh shit, those are fun.
Yeah, I didn't. I took the axe early thanks to fucking Derek Carr.
Oh
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, you're talking like the Saints, like the first 2 games of the year.
Well, I had Tua, and Tua went down, and
okay.
In the guillotine league, it's a deep league, so Derek Carr was my backup in the first few weeks, and those first few weeks, the Saints look like a fucking. They look good.
Yeah, two
and then
in a row,
they didn't.
They scored like 50 points.
Yeah, and then they didn't. So,
God damn.
Because I had Saquon, I had a solid squad, but guillotine league, the joys of that is it just takes 1 week.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
you just don't know what could happen.
So it was super fun. First time I ever ran it. Last year I took part in one that Denver ran, but it was like $10, so like it wasn't as like competitive.
Just for fun.
I mean, this year the winner took over 1,000, so like there's money.
Your jersey collection's got like how many jerseys do you think you have?
Right under 200, probably right now.
You think it's 200? Holy shit!
Last I like counted was probably like 140 something.
What would you say? Would you say majority's basketball? Or
Definitely majority basketball, but lately I've been like I've got a lot of custom brewery jerseys. Like I have a microphone, I have a Gnosis. I have a lot of I've been doing a lot of baseball with the brewery stuff. Like we have crafted jerseys.
Okay.
But I also have a good amount of football. Like, got my first hockey jersey for my birthday this year.
Like you got a sweater. You mean a sweater? You gotta get the lingo
Chelios.
right. You gotta get the lingo right. Is it the standard red, black?
No,
red?
black.
Black. Is it the standard one?
Oh yeah, it's official.
Like the standard head.
Oh
like
yeah,
yep. Versus like because you remember they did like those old. The old school ones with like the red stripe, but they were cool, but they did it for like a winter classic or something.
Oh yeah. No, this is the standard black. Yeah.
Okay, so this is like the standard hawk head.
Almost
black.
everything is throwback. I don't know. I probably have definitely under 10 of players who are playing right now.
I'll tell you what, dude. The fucking Lions jerseys, the shit that they hit like on their special jerseys, the white, the blues.
I know. I'm trying to find a Calvin right now. He's unusually hard to find for a jersey.
Was he one of the pictures you took at the game? I thought it was.
I did get to meet Calvin. Yeah, that was cool.
I saw him standing over you.
Yeah.
What's he like? 6'5", 6'4"?
Yeah. I think they said he's 6'5" when we looked it up the other day.
Yeah. So jersey wise, have you always like since you were a kid? Like
yeah.
Like what's your prize? You have a prize jersey, like or like your favorite one that you've ever owned?
You know what? Probably right now I have this like so it's a baseball style, but it's a Bulls jersey, and it's the Michael Jordan black and red pinstripe. So I think that's
is that a newer one?
I mean, I've had it probably for like a handful of years.
Okay. I think there was something they were advertising a couple years back where they were like flipping like the socks. This was style. The Bulls were doing the sock style.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like this is like I had a jersey guy for like a couple years, and this was one of the first ones I got off of. So like I don't even know like what this was made for. But
you know how we end up in like glass to mouth and
Yeah.
like these fucking glassware
Yep.
groups and stuff. Like, is there's that, right?
I have probably
sneakers,
300 something beer glasses still
like
too.
sneakers and stuff too.
Yeah.
Though. But there's a world for jerseys, I assume too.
Oh, I'm
that's
sure.
like
Yeah,
so you don't get into like the
No,
fucking forums.
No,
and like
I mean
the,
I buy less now than I mean I don't I get gifted a lot. You know, I think like you know to an extent I buy like I'm a strategic buyer because jerseys are expensive.
hell yeah, they are.
You know,
Fucking
like
nuts.
you know, so like a lot of Black
Now,
Friday buys,
real crazy.
You know, and like I'll get emails for like promos. So, you know, now, you know, you can gamble. Like Fanatics has their own gambling thing, so like you can use fan cash towards stuff from that too.
That's
so
cool. Yeah, that's right. Fanatics.
a little bit of
ties
strategy
in-
to the purchases more than
ties
just
in there.
you know. It's like I said, it's expensive. So
I dig that.
yeah, I just try to be smart, and the custom jerseys aren't that much to make, and they turn out really well, and they hold well. So
I like that.
the jersey guy was a nice discount. Like I mean that Jordan one I think cost me $65.
Oh shit! You buy that twice
but
on Sundays.
it's authentic.
Dude. That's
you know,
great.
and it's a nice jersey. So
Do you have like an ultimate player one? Like man, I have to. This is number one.
so you know what? One of the ones I have that I've actually never worn that I was super happy to get was
Never worn it.
Sean Taylor from the Redskins.
Oh yeah,
you
that's
know
cool.
he was one of my favorite players, and
That's
you know
dope. That sucks.
he unfortunately had got
Yeah.
killed in that incident. So
That was
I
crazy.
mean, I wouldn't say a huge Hurricane guy, but I mean, like, how could you not like the Ed Reeds and the Sean Taylor? Then
Yeah.
you had like the running back, like
You're talking
McGahee.
Miami, dude, like
Yeah.
Olsen. Yeah. God, you remember when was it McGahee? They got
His knee blown out on the.
was it Portis or McGahee? It was McGahee.
McGahee,
Got
yeah.
his knee just
national.
blown
It was
the
like
fuck
not national
out.
championship, or maybe it was. It was whatever
Was
the
it
bowl
the
game
Ohio,
was.
the Ohio State game? It might have been the Ohio State
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
because Ohio State won that game in like double or triple
Yeah,
overtime.
that was
in
one of the nastiest
2001
ones
or
I've seen
something.
live.
Nasty.
That and
It just blows
Sean
back.
Livingston in the
It just
NBA.
blows- yeah, that was terrible.
That
Or old boy.
I used to
from,
watch him growing up.
Old boy
so.
from Louisville in the tournament.
yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Kevin
Ware?
Ware.
Yeah.
Yeah. That bone just. Or Paul George too. Paul
Yeah.
George.
Yeah, I
nasty.
mean, there's some nasty ones for
yeah,
sure.
Livingston's is rough to watch.
Yeah, and like I used
Somebody just had it recently. There was one
to,
in the NFL or the college.
Jaden Ivey just broke his fibula in the NBA. He had a pretty nasty one.
I was this is football. I'm trying to
Football?
think. It was like recent in the end zone, and he caught the touchdown. God, I can't remember.
Yeah,
now. It was brutal. It was brutal to watch. I can't
Yeah.
remember if it was college or if it was but it was no good. One of those things. They roll it over and just be like, "Oh shit, something's pointing the wrong way."
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to bog us down
Yeah.
and hitting bad.
But yeah, like
injuries.
Taylor, KG is definitely one of my favorites.
Celtics one.
No, I have
Timberwolves.
T-Wolves.
Hell yeah,
He was my favorite player growing up in the NBA.
I love KG.
You know, I got a C-Web. So
I had the C-Web Bullets. My brother
Yeah.
had the C-Web Golden State.
I got-
the
I
4.
got-
Mine was the 2.
I got the Michigan and I got the Kings.
Oh shit, the Fab 5,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
That was it. That was what a team. Speaking of weed smoking, that's
Yeah.
that team. Jawan Howard, right?
Yeah.
He was one of them. You know what we didn't really talk about that I totally glossed over is the actual what happened after everything with your dad and the Detroit Lions. I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of touched on it, but we didn't really go
Yeah.
into it. So how long did it take them to, figure out what the hell happened and reach out to you?
So there was a gentleman at the game, actually at the game that day. It's crazy how many people, the whole Hot Butcher crew was at the game that day.
Oh,
There
really?
was so many people. Chug-a-Lug crew was at the game. There's
Oh,
so many
shit.
people I knew.
Okay.
But there was a gentleman named Jeff Seidel who writes for the Detroit Free Press. And he was at the game, and he did a very brief story with the gentleman who saved him originally. And that story was before he passed.
Right.
There,
right.
Like I
There was
said,
an amendment to
leaving
that
the field
story.
that day, everybody very much thought he was going to be okay.
Yeah.
After the fact, with my blessing, Jeff was passing my number, and I reached out and did that first story with him that kind of told the real story. And, he wrote that very well of like the meaning of family and like what those moments meant. It was
hours he really focused on.
It was written really well. So after the fact, he had told me ESPN was reaching out to him, and the Detroit Lions were reaching out, and if it would be okay to pass my info. So the Detroit Lions end up reaching out, contact me, and then first send their condolences, and they were generous enough. They flew out myself and 2 guests. They flew out the gentleman who saved my father on the field and 2 guests. Flew us out to Detroit. 2-day stay at this beautiful hotel, and then tickets for the game, field passes. So we flew to Detroit this past week, and went out there for the last week of the season for the Minnesota and Detroit
finale.
Yeah,
which is like the biggest game of the year. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
So flew out that weekend. On Saturday, we actually went to the Pistons game. Detroit also played Minnesota in the NBA, so we thought that was cool, and ended up seeing career highs from Cade Cunningham and Anthony Edwards. So that was fun.
How was Ant in person?
Oh man,
that had to be fun.
That dude's a monster. He's
so good.
Yeah, he's a monster. But Sunday we go to the game. We get there. They check us in, gave us a little swag bag, which was cool. But what was also cool is they actually like held the bag. They're like, we know you don't want to carry this for the whole time, so
all the little things
we'll hold it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So send us all up to what's called the Legends Lounge, which is food and drink. And I mean it was like tri-tip they're cutting for us. Like it was killer food.
Not bullshit food. Yeah.
So got to eat up there, and then take us down to the field. And even like going down to the field, you're walking through the tunnel, fist bumping Amon-Ra, and seeing like everybody who's about to play. And we go down on the field, and I'm glad like. So even to circle back, which we can get into ESPN after the fact, but like ESPN met us at the hotel to film some content and film us walking there. So like my head's already everywhere getting to the game, because I'm like, this is surreal that the cameras are just following us walking to a Lions game right now. But we get down there, and I was thankful the cameras weren't there for that, because there was that like period of emotion of like being on the field again, and wishing I could have my dad, but also like realizing like how nice and like what an amazing thing that these people just did for us, with no attention grab, like no media release, no plans to like do anything beyond like, we want to show you some happiness in a time of sorrow. So we got down there and just kind of hanging out. And then that's when like you saw like Calvin came out, taking pictures with Calvin, bullshitting a little bit. Even like Taylor Lautner, who's like a Lions super fan, like heard the story, comes up, hey man, I'm sorry, like, happy to have you here.
Crazy.
And then the big moment was like them taking us out on the field to meet Barry Sanders, which is both of our favorite player. And Barry had heard the story, condolences, and then shared some good memories of how we all got to this place, essentially, of we're here in Lions Stadium because of you. You're the reason that we both are, like, I'm wearing a Barry Sanders jersey, like, so that was super cool. And like,
Barry say anything to you that like you took home with you?
You know what, the biggest thing I took home is like, he's just a regular guy, and like I think we all forget that, like, these people at the end of the day, like, they're constantly getting attention and everybody, but he talked to you like somebody who like, it's like so casual, just ease my nerves. And like, again, you got cameras like right in your face, but act like we're not here. And it's just like, this is crazy.
New experience for Jeremy.
And also like for me to hold it in throughout all this was a lot. Like I'm, my head, when I say my head was everywhere for that whole pregame, like, oh man, dude, my emotions were just riding.
You didn't really know which one to stay with, like,
And again, that's the whole reason. Like, I wasn't trying to get drunk before or anything. Like, I just wanted to feel. You got to feel the good with the bad, because it makes the good that much better. And you got to realize like life isn't perfect, and you have to just figure out a way to make each day a little bit better. So I mean, the Lions made that weekend special, and I very genuinely appreciated it. Like, they didn't have to do that.
Yeah, like, who do you send that thank you card to? Like,
I told those people, like, I wish there was something I could do to really
show you how much I appreciate it.
But I mean, we met everybody from like the president of the Lions' wife, like everybody, like so many people just genuinely came up and, said what they said, and just they made sure that I knew that they wanted to make it a special day for us.
What, like, first class organization?
Yeah, first time in Detroit, and I mean, they get a bad rap. Like, I didn't see much for homeless. We walked through downtown, felt safe. Walked out of the game at 1 a.m.
Still good. Still feeling good.
So
love it.
I mean, the environment in that game was
Stadium's
insane.
Great, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, so like
facility.
That place was rocking even in pregame, and then with field passes, they'll keep you down to a certain point, and then they usually move you out for like introduction.
Mm-hmm.
They let us stay down for the whole introduction of the Lions team, and we're standing at the end of the tunnel watching them come out. National anthem, first kickoff, like we're on the sideline with the Lions, and then
they just beat the brakes off.
Took us up to our
Vikings.
Took us up to our seats, and I didn't leave my seat until the end of the game. Like,
that's awesome.
It was. I mean, it was great seats, great energy in that crowd. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah, what an experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it came at a cost, right?
Yeah.
But
so that was about a week after.
What do you think your dad would say? Like, if he knew all this was happening?
I mean, honestly, like, I think he'd be proud of the fact that, like, he knew how excited I was to be there with him, but for somebody to do that because of, they don't know him, and they don't know, there was an article out, but, beyond that, like, I think he would just be happy that I was able to smile, and,
let it go for a couple hours.
Just, yeah, I mean, he'd be happy knowing that I was still, like, I wish I was there with him, and he knows that, and he was there. Like, I've said it numerous times, like, talking to people, like, his spirit's going to bring them to the Super Bowl, and we're getting it. I said, Josh Allen ain't going to stop us.
Dude,
nobody.
How great would that be?
That I believe it.
If they rip the Super Bowl.
I'm a big everything happens for a reason, man.
And got to do it against the Chiefs. That'd be
even with that guy, like, that guy was on the field with field passes because the people next to him had some recognition of the North Texas, and like, it just happened to be standing there. Like, the way that everything just played itself out, like, Northwestern doctors on the field.
Like, how could this even be real?
He wouldn't have got the care he got anywhere else. So, like, we were meant to be in that place at that time. And I find peace knowing that, like, my dad went smiling on the field with me on his last day versus, like, going through years of pain and suffering and not being himself. Like, he was joking in the ER. He never lost his personality up until his last breath. And that's huge,
It doesn't taint any memory or anything.
No.
So it's like, when you go, and I remember as a kid just like seeing your grandparents wither away, or seeing people that get sick, and just like watching that change. And it's like, I don't want to say taints your memory, but it makes it harder.
For sure.
It leaves you with this impression instead of the person that you remember.
Yeah, my mom, the Lewy body and the dementia, that's something I hope nobody ever has to experience in their life, because to watch somebody change over a couple years the way I did. I mean, I quit working to stay home. It was a lot. He was even more than I could handle. I had to move in with my grandma and I. We got a place together. Just, it required that much attention and care. And for somebody to not have to, like, my grandma died in a funeral home or not,
retirement home,
or the
hospice.
No, is it a retirement home? I guess that's what. Yeah.
But like nursing facility,
nursing home. I guess that's the word I was
yeah.
looking for. But, like, the one where she was depressing. Like, my last visit there, like that, I wish that wasn't my last memory. You
being in like a hospice.
I mean, it's just what a sad way to spend your last days. So, like, again, like, knowing my dad went out, and just to clarify everything, like, he ended up having blockage, full blockage on the left side, which is what they call the widowmaker, and almost 100% on the other side. So, I mean, this was something that was going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
When, who knows? But the where, I think, was aware for a reason. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can't write it. You can't write that.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
So what happened with like what was the experience with ESPN? Like what was that like? 'Cause I mean that's got to be weird growing up watching sports shows your whole life, and now all of a sudden you're the feature of one or a focus of one.
Yeah,
I mean that had to be a bizarre, surreal experience.
Deflected a decent amount of media. I mean NBC's reached out, CNN, Fox showed up at the service, but they were respectable. Like they were reaching out, they just weren't getting an answer. And when we told them, they were super cool. But ESPN reached out and they were familiar with kind of where I was at already because they had talked with the gentleman I did those articles with.
Okay, yeah.
So that I went into the ESPN thing comfortable because we were on the same page instantly. And part of it too is the lady who did the interview, Kimberly A. Martin, was right next to us on the field when it happened. So
yeah, it's wild. She was right there.
Yeah, she's part of the story as well, you know. So they filmed a little bit of content when we were in Detroit, and then when we got back in town, we went met at a studio in the city and did a little sit down with myself, with Benjamin, and with us together, and was gonna air this weekend for the first Lions playoff game. It's delayed a little bit, so hopefully next week. We just got to hope for a Lions victory so we can keep it rolling.
They're going to win.
Yeah.
They're going to win.
Yeah, that's the ESPN thing. I mean, to be offered a platform to share it, you know, to the world, and also it be a very controlled environment. And also, like, there's nothing against Fox or NBC. These are huge platforms, but ESPN is what I grew up on, like you said. Yeah. So there's a very big sports, you know, feature to the story. So
huge.
I think you know, it's special that, you know, it I wouldn't say special. I guess kind of shitty that this became more of a Detroit thing than a Chicago thing.
Yeah.
I had told Joe, like,
it's a whole other part of the story there.
The Bears denied ESPN's request to film, and, you know, the Lions offered what they offered as a condolences. The Bears sent me a pack of trading cards and 2 pins from players who have been retired for a while. So
kind of wild.
I sent them back.
That's
I sent it back.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I mean, they need it more than I do. So
what did you do? Did you just send it like?
Just send it back, and I put a little note in there that said, "I think you need this more than I do."
Oh, that's wild.
Simple, and, you know, that's that. So, you know,
that picture, when you sent me the picture of that stuff, I was like,
it's embarrassing. I mean,
broke my heart. Like,
the Bears are already embarrassing enough. So, like, the fact that, you know, somebody basically died on your field, and then you've made no effort to even reach out, and the Bears are the first person to have my contact info. So, you know, I never expected any of this media stuff. Like,
right. Like, it's not
obviously it happened. That's the last thing I'm thinking about as I'm processing all this, but just the way it's played out, like, again, you know, you see genuine people, and it gives you a little bit of happiness in life to know, like, through the sorrow, there is some positivity that, you know, maybe you can't bring it yourself, but, like, people can offer it to you. And, you know, it felt good. Like, I felt honored to be at that game, and I know that they didn't have to do that, but, you know, again, meeting everybody that day, dude, I couldn't speak highly. What a first-class organization. Like, everybody they have in place to handle these kind of things, they deserve every dollar they make.
And what a juxtaposition to look at the Chicago franchise and the way they approached it. And just, you know, when we talked about first-class, world-class organization like the Lions, and they should be embarrassed of sending something like that to you.
I mean, it's Chicago sports in a nutshell right now.
It would have meant more for like a phone call from somebody from PR to just be like, hey man, like I hope you're doing okay. Or, you know, like,
well, even
really sorry to hear about your dad.
Who is it? Kevin Warren, I think, is their president. He was the
guy who's not building a stadium, and the guy who's, you know, hiring terrible general managers and hiring who are putting on terrible players onto the field. Yeah. That whole organization is a nightmare right now.
So,
and this just speaks volumes to what we're seeing on the field and what we're seeing, you know, as an organization. But I'm still blown away by the Lions thing, like how good, like how well they just approached something like this.
Yeah, I mean, that hotel was like one of the nicest hotels I've ever stayed in my life.
It's
like
wild.
2-bedroom, king size beds, full apartment, kitchen, laundry. I mean, Denver got pushed over to the cot. I brought Denver as one of my guests because, you know, he was super, super awesome in the moment, after the moment. Like, he's, you know, he was consoling me on the field. He's super, super helpful with deflecting some of the media and just giving me the extra time off and just making sure, like, are you okay? You know, and, you know, meaning it. And that meant a lot. So it was awesome to be able to bring him. And then I brought my stepsister, who, one of the most special people in my dad's life growing up. You know, she was great to him. So, you know, she was a rock for me throughout the services and everything that comes with that. So she definitely very much deserved to be there as well.
Jeez, that's fucking. It's just crazy. The whole thing, the whole experience, and it's almost sucks because you want to talk about it in a positive way. Almost, you know, it's like obviously you lost somebody dear to you, and it's just like the positive that came out of the other side of it. I mean, I think it speaks a lot to you and who you are and how you are and approach life. I mean, you know, like what how are you right now, weeks removed from it, thinking about your dad? Like, what's
I mean, it's hard. It's hard, but like getting back to work next week will be nice. You know, again, like talking about it is always going to be hard, but it's not going to break me because there's a lot more positive to talk about than that one day, you know?
Yeah.
That one day will always impact me, just like what my mom did, what I talked about with my grandpa, you know, that day seeing my grandma. But, you know, I'm honored that I got to spend so much time with my dad, you know, after losing my mom and making that bond stronger. And then even having those extra hours of just like, you know, you may not have said everything that you want to say, thinking that it's that time, but just, you know, I got to be there for him in his hardest time. And he knew that. Like, he knew I was right by his side the whole time. And, you know, time is valuable. You know, we underestimate, you know, how quick life passes by sometimes. Yeah. So, you know, that's part of the reason I take this time off sometimes, is just to reset and also try to catch up with people, like getting able to come out here. You know, tomorrow I have plans with a friend I haven't seen in years who was very close to me.
Yeah, you didn't even deflect my media availability. See,
no,
you didn't deflect me.
No,
appreciate that.
We've been wanting to do this, and what better time to talk about life than, you know, when it's the craziest it's been.
It's so fresh right now too.
Yeah, you know, like, and you know, like just even like the day after it happened was the Brothership Christmas party, and like all morning I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but just going there and just feeling the love helped heal a little bit, you know. Tom giving me a hug and Kyle and everybody just making sure, like, you know, if you need anything, we're here for you. Like, it feels good. Like, you lose somebody and that person leaves a void that, you know, not everybody can match. Yeah. But the little bit here, there, and having people to reach out to, and like just knowing who's special when you really need it, you know, it helps your heart a little bit, you know. So
that's a good group of humans in a room there too for something like that the next day.
Yeah,
except for Tom. Tom's the worst. But did he lose in Flippy Cup and get mad again or not?
Flippy Cup was happening, but I
staying away from it.
You know what, dude? Like, those first few days were really hard for me. There was a lot of tears, dude. My eyes hurt so bad for days.
I was wondering if you were a crier or not.
I mean, I am in private. You know, I'm a human being. You know,
keep in touch.
That ride home that night was rough. You know, and you know, going home, my roommate, they were waiting for me at the door. You know, and got to share a lot of sadness at that moment, and also feel a lot of love, which helped a lot. But I mean, I think right now more, if anything, it's hearing certain songs are a little bit more triggering.
Music.
I mean,
music fucks me up, man. Anything emotional.
That Brew Day is going to be interesting.
What kind of music fucks you up right now?
Well, Simple Man was played at the end when everybody, you know, said their final goodbye. So, I mean, I don't listen to a lot of that rock all the time, but, you know, going through this is kind of put me on that genre a little bit, just because it's almost like a bonding moment.
Yeah.
Where they might not be here, but you know, you're thinking of them. Yes. Van Halen was the favorite, but not David Lee Roth. All Sammy Hagar. Okay. So
all Sammy.
After Eulogies, we played Eagles Fly.
No shit. Okay.
So I think that's going to be the name of the beer that we do with Gnosis.
I like it.
And you know, I was giving Pope, who does all their artwork, some ideas today. of like what the vision is I hope to achieve. So, I have full faith in those guys. They're, we had this outing plan. We just did an outing with Charlotte at Solemn Oath in December, and I was proud of the Operatives. Like, what a great turnout we had, especially for it to be cold in Naperville. Like, you never know what kind of support you're going to get, but she did a great job hosting as well as the staff. And
that's because she's the best.
We had a great time. Blind taste challenge. We did some beer poking, which a lot of us had never done. And just, special stuff on tap and just a good vibe, a little Secret Santa and nice little share. It was so fun. So I've tried to reinvigorate the Operative membership of like, how can we evolve this from just being what it has been? I mean, it's already successful, but how can it be better?
Yeah.
So trying to do outings is something that we had, planned a phase 3 cruise earlier in the year.
Cruise.
That day just was a clusterfuck. We all ended up having to bail besides a few because life, like everybody had like one person had some family issues. Yeah. I had a day where I just ate the cost of my ticket because I was going until I looked at the GPS and I was like, I'm never going to make the boat. My day just got away from me. So we're going to revisit that this year. That was a great time. I ended up going after the fact a couple weeks later on one of the last ones, and great time. But we had planned this Gnosis outing in February, and then when all this happened, I was like, how do we do this? I was like, I would love to do this, for my dad as like, a way to remember him by, beyond just me, like, the picture of him in his Van Halen shirt is going to be front and center. And
sick.
Probably a nice picture of us somewhere snuck on the label. And, I gave him some ideas on some artwork and time to let him work his magic. And, we're going to go have some fun. I think it's going to be a huge turnout. I invited a lot of friends. I invited some family. So we'll all go brew that day. And same thing, do a little share, probably steal a little bit of their ideas because it was fun. And, now we can try it and just keep continuing to build off that. So
I can't wait to see the label now.
I spammed them with a whole bunch of stuff today. So we'll thankfully we have time. It'll release in April, and instead of doing Jeremy's Jersey Day, it'll be Wally's Jersey Day. So that'll be cool.
Gotta logger the shit out of that.
Yeah. So we'll brew it on his birthday, and then it'll come out in April.
Oh, that's cool. So what's next for you? Where are you going next? I mean, we're good. We're at Crafted. I feel like one day you're gonna own something.
I mean, that's the inevitable next step. But again, like with owning comes no more days off. So there's always that realization of like, I mean, right now I work Monday through Friday. I have a great schedule. Mm-hmm. I'm paid well. And I'm happy. So. It has to make sense to take that next step, and I want to take it, and I plan to take it, but when? Who knows? Denver and I had conversation. Like we had some pretty vivid conversation at the airport because our flight got delayed, but about like that next step, and I mean for me, Crafted is great, but I mean restricted on space, and there's only so much you could add to that to evolve it, whereas like. Because of Chug-a-Lug and the experience I've had, and obviously being the sports guy I am, I think naturally I've went more towards the sports bar kind of vibe, And Illinois is nice where it still allows you that to go opportunity, because of the license, whereas Indiana doesn't. I don't think so. I don't think I'd ever go back to Indiana business wise.
Okay.
Never say never, but
yeah, right.
I very much love the vibe and the clientele and just. I love the atmosphere on the Chicagoland side, and I like being close. I like living in Indiana. I like my taxes over there versus Illinois.
Sure, for sure.
But I have a whole concept built on my phone for years that just constantly edits and evolves as I learn things. So like when it comes to that time, like I have a platform to start with. So I mean that's the plan, eventually, but. No hurry,
Well, you let us all know when that's coming because I think a lot of people.
Yeah, if you got a lot of money and you want to give it to me and let me run everything, PM me.
You want to shut your mouth and let me run it with your money? That's perfectly fine with that.
That's essentially like I'm at a place where I'm very confident in what I can do, and I also have a vision, and I have people that I know would help me execute it, and that's just the way it's going to be. Like that's what makes Denver and I work so well is Denver trusts me to be in place to just run. He just do it, I have to wait for his.
He needed that. He carried such a load for such a long time.
Yeah.
Just like he had to come up with all the ideas.
Now I just need him to do the construction on a timely basis, which doesn't always work.
Well, that's
crafted construction.
That's part of Denver.
That's part of the quota, but
that's a whole different thing.
Hey,
it doesn't leave sawdust all over.
You got to give the man credit though. He's got a full-time job now.
Yep.
He's got his kids in college. He's still got a wife. He's got to keep happy. So
a lot of kids.
Crafted is still in the fold, but. Yep. I understand that he does have to have other priorities sometimes, and I bust his balls a lot. But I also he knows, like we have
grateful.
We have a good understanding.
You're grateful for. I mean, he had a vision and he made it come true.
Every person he met, like throughout this whole process of being at the service or just being, he said, "I own the business, but he's my boss." And he means it.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. It makes sense.
I mean, that's the future. When it happens, I love the community. A lot of people say craft beer is dead. I feel the opposite. No. Craft beer has evolved.
The community's amazing.
You just have to evolve with it.
Just people just aren't spending insane amounts of money on beer like they used to.
Well, and I mean that it blew up so much when you have
there's just so
hundreds and
hundreds
of breweries. Mm-hmm. Inevitably, just like any, hockey stick.
All the way
I laugh all the
right.
time. In over Northwest Indiana by me, all of a sudden one day there's like 7 American mattress and
right.
Not all of them are going to succeed. And
all the mattresses.
I mean, everywhere. It's just funny, like Mattress World. It's like all of a sudden it blows up, and then all of a sudden it implodes
Mattress World,
again.
1-800 mattress, American mattress.
But I mean, it's any business, any retail business. Things get oversaturated, and the herd thins. And the ones that thin are usually the ones that don't adapt.
I mean, you said it.
That's the way it is.
The good ones will survive.
Yeah,
like your phase 3s and your hot butchers and your half acres and revolutions and all. These are brands that are going to stick around.
And you just have to have the people behind it that want it to succeed. Some people get into this as a passion and a hobby, and then it's like get past that point of like, this isn't just a hobby anymore. Like this shit's actually working, but it's more than I bit off. Like, how crazy it is that
getting jaded.
John Brand gone now.
John is a fucking dynamo.
just not that that's the situation, but it's just like the people that you would have never expected to disappear.
Yep.
Now he's not even an open outcry anymore.
It's just him. I mean, I just think he had to step away from it. I don't think it was anything to do with quality.
No.
Like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how they're doing now without him at the helm, but man. That guy's special. Whatever industry he's in, I want to be a part of it.
Yeah,
man, that's the kind of guy he is. Is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap up? I mean, I don't know. We're just rolling. So
yeah, I mean that's pretty much life in a gist right now. It's we're back to Crafted next week, and we're just going to keep rolling events, keep evolving events.
Got anything coming up? Like this will go out probably on Monday.
So coming up
this week, but
Monday is the day I return, so that'll probably be the day Joe drops this, which is cool. But next week we are the Deep Woods preview party this month, so we'll have the 3 new Revolution releases on tap Thursday, and then on Fridays every Friday in January we've been tapping different sanctuary kegs that never leave the tap room. So this will be the 4th one, and then the 31st we'll have 8 different ones on tap. So a chance to try tons of barrel-aged product that never leaves the Revolution Brewery. So that's the big stuff for January.
What a good partnership there.
February we're rolling into Jersey Day with More Brewing. We're doing a few one-offs with them. Mendy and Roaming Elephant blends. Never been done before,
so good.
But
so good.
75-25 of one, and then 75-25 of the other.
Yeah.
We got Blind Corner launch party coming up.
The boys, huh? All right, that's a whole story I'd like to get a hold of.
Yeah,
I won't even get into that.
Yeah, I don't know enough info to jump
to
in
a couple
of
people on a couple of different ends of that story. Interesting.
Yeah, I
hope they do well. Hope everything goes well.
Yeah, so we're gonna give them some love and do a nice little launch party with them, and then roll into March. We got a few new things I'm trying to work on. We're looking to get Paint and Sip started at Crafted. Now that we have Myra, little ladies touch, so maybe like a little Sunday with mimosas and bloodies.
There you go.
and then I want to start doing crafted couples night. So
well, you just have to you have to do more things. Like,
yeah,
there's not you can't just set up a tap list and walk away.
Yeah, I did events last year that some succeeded, some didn't. So we look to adapt and
keep on going.
We got Brian doing tableside cocktails. He's back in action tomorrow.
I've seen some videos.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, he
fucking throw the apron on him.
That's a whole story from Louisville of have you the last day? If you haven't heard this story, this is a great story. So
no, I haven't heard it.
We go down to do barrel pick at Buffalo Trace in February with Pouch, Ira, Denver, the whole crew, Chad, Brian, etc. And we went to I want to say I don't think it was Jeff Ruby's. I can't think of the name of that steakhouse in Louisville. Nippin would know it if I asked him in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
it was phenomenal though. Honestly. Great. But we went there and taking orders, and we all know how Ira is. Ira wants to cover the bill if he can get away with it. So, everybody's ordering it, but everybody also knows, I'm not going to get the most expensive thing on the menu. It comes to Brian, who's ordering for Chad at this moment, and the menu is very clear to all of us, except for Brian, I guess. 2 cocktails at the top, which are tableside, and the most expensive cocktails on the menu, and then a whole list of regular. Brian ordered the tableside tequila old fashioned. I want to say it was like $40, $50, maybe $60. But after we gave him shit for that, the server comes back around to take our food order, and everybody's doing like a $60, $70 New York strip or filet or whatever. Okay. And it comes to Brian. Let me get the surf and turf with an extra side of Brussels sprouts, please. Nice little $120 meal. Denver's just shaking his head. So because of that,
he's out there.
Because of that order, Brian now has his cart and an apron and his whole tableside cocktail set up.
West is
and
the
he
best.
Does it once a month. And he's dude. That guy can sell. I mean, the amount of coconut rum that guy sells.
I bet it's hilarious.
And then now he's been asking for this dirty Dr. Pepper cocktail,
like the swig places out in Utah.
Amaretto, it's a little rum. Yeah.
But it's
our number one seller on Thursdays. I can tell you that.
Thing that's turned. Now he just put a spin of alcohol into it.
So
yeah, that's. Well, I watched him escort a pregnant woman out of our establishment at Crafted with like over $100 worth of booze.
That's hilarious.
It's like she was basically like teetering out of there with trying to balance like cases of beer and like probably I bet Barry White was involved there.
He is a salesman. We sell, I think we're like one of the most number one accounts for that Hard Truth rum because of like, he'll pour you a little taste, and then next thing you know, you got the cream, you got the regular rum,
he'll get you
the maple cream. Oh, did you try the cinnamon vodka? So even when I came on, like that was something I was very adamant with Denver about. Like, I definitely want full time and I need hours and I want prime time, but I never want to take away that Thursday and Friday from Chad.
Yeah.
And Brian because I mean,
Brian's got a whole family there.
They have really good clientele. And
I got Dave and Todd. I became Dave and Todd's friends because of the Thursday nights at Craft.
Yeah. They come in now.
I love those two.
I got Myra trained now. Just pour Dave a stout or a barley wine. He doesn't want to
whatever. He's happy. Whatever. He don't care.
So
he just surprised me.
Yeah. I mean, he had a family party there recently, and the Kick the Kegs. It seems like we are getting a lot of good feedback. So I take pride in that place is very open to everybody. We got the pinball for the kids. Big time. There's older folk, there's younger folk. Everybody likes being around each other, so that it makes it a fun environment.
The McAllisters, dude.
They're a trip. Did he jam on open mic?
Oh my God, he sings like a fucking angel,
dude. I would love.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they're great people.
I had no idea he could sing.
They're like one of the only ones who made the Phase 3 cruise that when we set it up.
Yeah. Oh, they don't miss shit. They're always there.
They're living, man.
They're always giving shit for like my son's fundraisers.
No, they're good people.
Great, and I never even waited on them, really.
Yeah, I mean the amount of people I've met there: Pouch, Ira. Nippin. I mean, my buddy Ed, who I got to see today, my buddy Ricardo, who, I mean, I could name names. Everybody
the
knows.
Network's unbelievable.
Dan and Andrea. There's just
the network of people is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, there's endless names that I could sit here and rattle, and I'm happy to call these people my friends, not just my customers.
I'm happy to call you my friend.
You're my friend.
Thanks for coming out, dude.
Yeah, no,
I
thanks for having me.
You.
Thanks for rocking that dope shirt.
Hey, dude.
That gives me a little nostalgia feel today.
It had memories, man. It had memories built right into it.
I had to rep the Lions and retire the jersey for the day.
Anybody who's been to Windmill in the last 10 years or whatever, was Luther.
Luther is the king of Windmill and forever will be. If there's one thing anybody remembers about that brewery, it is going to be Luther.
It's going to be that cat.
And that's nothing to say about the beer. That cat is just that fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's just a great cat. He sat on my backpack when we did the podcast the whole time. He just sat on my backpack. I was laying down on the table, and he just curled up on it.
Yep.
So like,
one of my favorite parts of the day is just being one of the first people there and just seeing Luther in the morning, just petting him and having fun. And, it's like, this is the best way to start a work day that I can think of.
All right, so we'll have to run this again when you decide to open your own business or your dispensary, your brewery, your sports bar.
Shit, I definitely don't have enough money for a dispensary. That's big money to start.
Well, thanks for coming out, dude.
Yeah,
and cheers to you and condolences, obviously, and Dad's out here watching us. Hopefully,
he's bringing home the Super Bowl this year.
Dude, I hope
Lions really, all the way. Put your money on it.
I really do hope that's what happens.
If you lose it, don't yell at me.
You got a ticket on that? You got.
Oh, I got money. I got money on.
Love to hear that.
I'm not betting anything but the Lions right now. That's my only focus.
Let's go, dude. I'm buying a Lions jersey. Fuck this, dude. I'm pumped for the Lions now.
Hell yeah.
After this whole story.
What are you doing for Super Bowl? You coming?
We usually go to my brother-in-law's.
Okay.
Yeah, we go to my in-laws. Why?
I gotta
get some.
Ira's always got the spread.
Oh, Ira, of course.
Mary throws down, man. Mary's
just Pappy 23.
The Super Bowl MVP is Mary because that food spread is divine.
Stupid, huh?
Oh man, last year I barely drank. I just we got lobster tail, we got ribs, the charcuterie board. Dude, that woman throws down.
Dude, I love that. They're the best. They're the best. I got to get back out there again. I got to get back in his good graces so I can get an invite over there again. He's the man.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk to you soon, dude. Thanks for coming out.
All right, much love, buddy.
Peace.
Bye.